Ben doesn't play by those rules. He doesn't abide by any of these kind of Western systems of this is what a film is supposed to be like or sound like. Ben's attitude is like, disrupt all of that. And we might not even get it right this time, but like all these other cultures of the elite get to play with stuff, get to experiment, get to fail. Let's fail, because what we might do is actually create something that we didn't even know that we needed.
My initial engagement with film is really as a kid with my grandfather in New Mexico. He was a projectionist. And he taught me the arc light type of filmmaking, where it was the two arcs that go together and cause the light. And so my whole world of seeing that, it was magical. My first camera were really the Kodak instant cameras that you could buy. And I had those in war while I was in Vietnam. I thought I should take pictures of the wartime because it was nothing like what I saw as a kid on TV. I got accepted into the still photography program at Arizona State, and so that's what sent me off on the idea of being able to do pictures with a camera. That's one of my photographs from Arizona State that I did.
Yeah, the AMCA stuff.
Yeah, the AMCA series.
And then how does that relate to George Washington Carver?
Everything does.
I get that. So much of Ben's work is collaborative. He works with so many different people, and he's not trying to guard and protect a perception of him as an auteur, which is literally a type of filmmaking that breeds egos and builds a film canon that doesn't serve us. But Ben's not interested in that. Some of his work, especially the work with video and some of the things that we see after the analog film moment, it's an attempt to being free. That freeness is also letting go of ego. It's learning to love and create in a way that protects us as a community. And I think that's represented in the work.
What I wanted to do is, starting with iFresh, when I first started setting up my place as an incubator. It's a thought process space for arts. And having it with the youth in there, the major purpose to me was to immerse themselves in the culture in a way that it influences their work. That was my initial purpose for this, was to really figure out why we have a multi-billion-dollar business that we call our entertainment industry, and we're still begging for money. And so I wanted to set up a place that was really Afrocentric, but within the idea of it being from Chile to Canada, not just being English-based.
People who know Ben know that Ben has been so invested in doing the work, in being an artist, in creating a space to nurture the creative, artistic capacities of others, and creating a community-driven artistic space. He's been so invested in doing the work that he doesn't really allow much room or time to have himself or even that work celebrated. So it was important, I think, at this point in time to celebrate, number one, the history of his work, the history of the work of KAOS Network, and as well, especially amid all of the change that this neighborhood of Leimert Park is experiencing, to celebrate the importance of these kinds of institutions in communities like this.
The really beautiful thing I think about the book, and I think the show has been able to show this as well, is that a lot of people feel like they know Dad very intimately in one specific way. And this has been able to give people a more well-rounded view of all the amazing things he's had little tiny hands in.
For us, it's been very helpful in being able to contextualize a lot of the miraculous things that he has done over these years. It's also helped me to contextualize myself in this space because I see my father as the master communicator.
The proof is that if we try, we can make a lot of these things happen, not just trying, but we're making it happen. So I like that CAM is able to do that along with their relationship with art and practice. And I think that this also shows the community portion of it for the community. They get to see something curated from this community that also has their faces in it. And I think that's really the most important part of what art and practice is able to do here.
We're highlighting the various ways that the community doesn't and hasn't solely relied on the representations of others to document their own stories, that the community has been documenting their own stories. And while those stories aren't always prioritized in museums or prioritized in the history books that are assigned in our high schools or in our colleges, that if we actually look around, communities have been documenting themselves and cultivating our own archives and stewarding those histories for the generations to come.